Hey, welcome to How to Be a Sound Engineer here on YouTube. My name is Sean. This is where I teach you guys how to be a sound engineer, how to mix sound, how to make sound, how to do things in the studio, and above all, have a little fun while you're doing it. So today well, actually, before I talk about that real quick, we also do live streams on Twitch, studio sessions where you can join in and comment and ask questions, and we can do our best to answer them. Sometimes I have clients in, sometimes it's just me. Either way, come join us on Twitch, watch live streams. And if you missed the live stream, you can catch it later on YouTube. It gets uploaded a week later after the stream, so you can still go back and watch it if you so choose. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Maschine. There is quite a few different versions of this. The software is pretty much the same. I don't think it's any different from one to the next, but the hardware does change, and they've had different versions come out. I currently use the Maschine Micro in my studio, mostly because of the size. I don't have a lot of space. And I mean, I could use a bigger one. I could easily put a bigger one in here, and at some point I may. But I do like having it right in front of me, right next to my keyboard. I can go back and forth without having to worry, or don't have to like go halfway across the room or whatever. I like having access to keys and the pads at a moment's notice, so when I'm inspired to do something, I don't have to go searching for something. So because of space constraints, until I figure out a better way to maybe mount some sliding thing for one of the bigger machines, which ideas have come to mind recently. I may do that at some point, but right now I'm using the Maschine Micro. So that's the benefit, is the size, if you don't have a lot of space. Though there is some downfalls. It is a little harder to access a few things with the Maschine Micro because you need to hold down buttons and access submenus and stuff. But with that being said, you can do all the same stuff with your mouse right on the screen. So as you can see, I have Maschine up here on the main screen for you. The video above me is a close-up of the Maschine Micro here, and so you can kind of see both and me at the same time at what I'm doing. So um, let's take a look at some of the navigation first on the Maschine Micro. Down here in the corner, this side over here, you can see that there's a play button, a record button right next to it, erase, a shift button. I'll get back to that in a second. Restart, so this will play it from the beginning. This will play for wherever you're at. Your step buttons, so you can step through your sequences there. You have a grid button, which I'm assuming is for, yeah, so you can change your grid to whatever you need, whether it be quarters or whatever. Anyway, so grid button, so you hold that down, you twist the knob, it'll help you change your grid. You have your group, browse, sampling, note, repeat buttons. A lot of this stuff, well, at least these three here, the browse, group, sampling, I personally just use the mouse and keyboard on the software. I can see these things being more beneficial for somebody who's playing live with the machine, but they're probably not going to be using the micro anyway to do so. So, I mean, they're good that they're there, but I don't use them, generally speaking, most of the time. You have your F keys, so it'll access different functions based on what you have selected. So if you have a main, you have your tempo, swing, volume, and then this is your browsing section for filters, lists, users, different files and stuff. Again, it's kind of a pain in the ass to use on this small screen to navigate for your sounds and stuff. The bigger versions with the bigger screens that have more control, cool. I just use the mouse and keyboard. So a lot of this stuff doesn't get used very much, other than like when I'm doing note repeat here, and I want to change settings in the note repeat and we'll get to that a little bit later. Um, and also, like if I have it on pad mode, if I hold down pad mode, I can actually change. I can set up chords and stuff in here with this. So there's different features that you do use these keys here and the knob with a few other things to do some specific things when you're trying to just have like chords set, like each key be a chord of something. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Uh, so coming back to the shift key here. So if you hold down the shift key, it's going to access all the white letters above all the buttons. So right here it says step. You have count in, metronome. You have all kinds of functions on all these keys. So you have undo, redo, step, undo, and redo. You have quantize. You have nudge functions, clear, copy, paste, octaves, and semitones. So you can go up and down those things. So you have functions, all those right there. You have, let's see, you have your mute. So if I'm selected on this one right here, real quick, we'll go to select. Hold down select, and we can pick which notes or which sounds that we want to select, which is super useful if we have it on a sound there and we want to mute it. So we can hold down, actually hold down mute, and then you would mute things here, or solo, vice versa. The navigation thing here is view. So you can zoom in and out of your project, scroll back and forth with these, and then this opens and closes windows that you have open. Another thing you have, so at the top here, you have your project, and projects are consisted of scenes, and within those scenes you have all your sounds, your subsets of sounds basically. So right now we have, and those subsets of sounds are called groups, by the way. So if you have a scene, you click on hold on scene down here. It has one thing lit up showing that you have one scene up here. So scene 1. If I go to create another scene, would hit this blank one, and it'll create a scene right after it, calling it scene 2. You can go in and rename them if you'd like. Just depends. And I apologize. Sometimes people like to message me. All right. Then same with patterns. You could hit pattern, and right now, because we're on this sound, I apologize. People are probably gonna blow me up. It happens. Probably should have muted those, but oh well. It's too late now. Anyway, so down here we have patterns, which is a pattern is all of your sounds. So you can have 16 different sounds within a single pattern. So you have 16 pads. Each one of those pads correlates to to each one of the sounds right here. You can also click right here, and it shows you all the patterns that you have. So this would be like a preloaded pattern when you load up the sound. And you load up sounds. Got to step back here a second. From your library, like right now, this is a drum kit. So I would go to all groups, click on kits, and I have selected this one. I double click on it when it's empty, and it'll load in this with pattern number 1. We're going to make a new pattern just so I can show you kind of how it works. You can use the patterns, edit the patterns, whatever you want to do. But we're going to show you real quick how to make a new one. So we're on pattern 6. As you can see, this is highlighted. If I change these, I can go through the patterns like so. Your group button right here, if you hold that down, you see this one up top here is orange to correlate with that particular group. Now if we click on another one, it made a new group and it changed the color to yellow. Now that is yellow, that is yellow. So as we go through the groups, we can select them by holding down group and navigating that way. So let's go ahead and another quick thing. We're going to record in a drum pattern here to show you how it's kind of done. It'll probably suck, but just give you an idea how it works. Um, so you have the play, you have record function. That just arms the track for recording or whatever you're going to play. Then you can play and start recording, or you can count in. And the best way to do is make sure your metronome is on. So you can do it one of two ways. You can go up here and click it on there, or you can hold down the shift and the play button, and it'll turn it on. And then I want to count in, so I don't want it to jump right into the beginning here. And what we're going to do is we're going to move that way. Okay, so I just want it to loop this section for me. So I'm going to hold down shift and hit record, and it'll count in, and then we're going to record something, or at least try to. Alright, so we have a basic of a drum here. And obviously if we're going to build something off this, we'd build multiple patterns and have them, build out. So we have, another feature when recording something, which is super useful, is this note repeat. Especially if you're going to do things like hi-hats, where you want quick hi-hats. Sometimes the hi-hats you want to program them in, click them in manually because you want to get real detail, especially with things like trap music or anything where you have really fast hi-hats, where you have builds and stuff like that. You can enter in a basic hi-hat and then edit from there as well. So let's find a hi-hat, which is right here. We hold this down and we hit this, and it's going to repeat. We can change the setting for the repeat by navigating through the menu here while we're holding the note repeat button down. And the first one is rate, so it says 1/16. We can change that to 1/8, like so. So maybe let's play it and see how it sounds with that. Maybe we like that. So let's go with that. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift record in. As you can see down here on the bottom of the screen, there's the velocities right here. So you can see they aren't exactly all the same, which I find to be a good thing. You can go in and edit those. You can actually set them up to quantize if you really want to. I like a little variance, a little human element, so it doesn't sound like a robot as much. You can also do cool things like with that channel, I believe, if you hold down shift and hit this here. Oops, that's nudging the whole thing. So what we're going to do is actually, because we don't want to nudge everything, I'm going to highlight just this section here and say I want to bring that off just a touch, but I don't want it like that much. I want it like a 64th or something. So hold down shift and we nudge it over with a button there. We can even do smaller increments, 1/28 if we wanted to. Let's hear how that sounds. Sounds pretty good. All right. Another thing. So we have a simple drum pattern here, but maybe we want to change the notes of this kick drum. Well, one way we can do is we can select this kick drum, right? Hold down the shift key and hit keyboard, which would be the pad mode button, but right above it says keyboard. Hit that, and it goes into keyboard mode. You can also do this with a mouse by clicking this right here. Either way. And then we can come in here and edit this real quick. You can also come in here, you can also play these, because now when it's in keyboard mode, as you hit different keys, it's playing different notes of that specific sound. It's no longer playing each individual sound by themselves. It's just playing that one sound as different notes, like if you were to play it on a keyboard. So like I have a keyboard right above this, which you can't really see, but at least in this shot. So, but it's the same thing. Just goes to keyboard mode. And say I want to just drag these down. And now I have it edited that way. So if I play it, the drum, kick drums changing notes, which sounds pretty cool. All right, let's go back to regular sequence mode. And maybe I want to use this bass repair thing to create a bass line with this. I could do one of two things. I could take this sound and do it in this pattern, or I could create a new sound altogether and come into this group and add another sound with a separate group that I could pull in and out, different patterns. Maybe I want the bass line normal, but I want the bass line to kick up, like get extra girthy in the chorus or something. That might be a good way to do it. Or you can just separate it all together in different patterns. As far as how you organize all this, that's up to you, because really it's your workflow. So, and that just comes with playing around with it and figuring it out. So what I want to do is I like this sound, but I want to go to keyboard mode. Boom. Now so let's try something like that. Oops, that was totally messed up. So I didn't like that, obviously. So hold shift and I can go clear. Boom, they're all gone. Let's try it again. Hopefully I don't screw it up. Man, totally messed that second part up. I can also just grab sections and delete it. But what I don't like, another thing is, one thing I don't like is, so I'm off a little bit timing here and there, just a little bit. I can clean that up by, first we can change this to say 16ths, and we can select everything here and we can quantize that. So we can hold down shift, quantize. I didn't like that. Oops. Hold down shift, undo. We do 50% quantize as well. There's a 50% quantize. So it quantizes all the way, but this is still too far, so I gotta edit it over here. Let's hear how that sounds. So this probably should be over here. See, it sounds a little too robotic, like kind of. So I would opt to re-record that to get it just the way I wanted to, or just nudge it around until I found where I liked it. And let's add on to this real quick here. I like that bass line. That's kind of cool. So one thing I could do is I can go in here and select all, copy it. I can go to another group here, and let's find a bass sound here. Bass and bass line. Let's see what this sounds like. This is where I go to keyboard mode because I can play it. Don't like that. Move these down, maybe. we could do, since we don't know how it's going to sound, we could paste this sucker in here. Oops, nope. Go back up here. Copy all this stuff again. Copy. Sometimes the copy paste function is a little weird in here. I gotta admit. There we go. So play that. That's a little funky, like kind of. I don't know what that is, but that's definitely not sound we probably want. So it's not a bad sound. What we can do is we can take these, drop it down, like an octave maybe. Maybe 2 octaves. And turn it down. So there, we can mix that in and make it sound the way we want to. So that's kind of like some basic navigation there. Again, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but this is the mixer console view here. And you can actually like consolidate this down into one group. So you have your master for this group here. If you double click it on either one of these, what it'll do is when you play it back, it's just going to show all the sounds in each group. And then access individual sounds for mixing. You just double click up here. Now you have access to it. So then you can go in and mix your track the way you want it to. And then when you need to do actually the detailed mixing, import it to your favorite DAW, Pro Tools, Sonar. That's my favorite, Sonar. Studio One, whatever you use, Logic, whatever. And you can export all those tracks. My last video, I talked about how to do that, so you can check that out. And actually how to use this software inside your DAW. So sometimes I use it inside. Sometimes I just grab this and I work in here and get some ideas. And then I bring it into there and I kind of expand upon it there. So yeah, this is basic workaround or basic how to get around the software. We go through this menu real quick, just to touch base on it real quick. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But up here you have your library and your files. This is where you can access your own samples if you have your own sample library or whatever. Up here's your library. This is what you installed when you installed Maschine into your software or into your computer, sorry. And so here you can choose things by all instruments, or you can grab things by different groups that you may have installed. And then you have types, so you can select your types. This is under instruments. Usually when I start a track, if I'm starting with drums, for example, I may pop in here and go to kits, and then choose the type of kit I want. Here's subgroups, so you can kind of narrow it down, and then go through all the kits, and load in your kits into your group here, and then play with them. This is more of sounds, instruments, weird effects, and samples. So, and then these are all the Maschine based stuff. You can go here and click on personal files. So if you set up your in preferences, if you set up your own files with your own samples, you can have all those loaded in here by clicking on the little icon, your head icon. So yeah. And then these are like preloaded projects that came from Maschine, or from Native Instruments rather. So yeah, that's kind of the navigation of the software and how to get around and everything. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. There's probably a lot of stuff I didn't cover. I didn't cover sampling at all. which is a whole nother video. If you want it, I can make a sampling video. Um, and I think I covered most things on here. If there's any specific questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'd be happy to get back to you and answer them. If you need any help with anything, I'm here. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. That would really help me out. And don't forget, we do live stream on Twitch. So if you go over to Twitch, the link is in the description below, as well as in this video. If you go over to Twitch, you can follow us there. And when we go live, you can chat and comment, and we'll be more than happy answering questions. I do my best to answer any questions there. Sometimes I may have clients over, sometimes not. Who knows? I never know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I hope this helped out. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Peace.